You're listening to Two Girls, One Crossword.
I am low-key scared that I have a flesh-eating bacteria.
I don't think you should be low-key afraid then.
Well, because I keep going in the lake, and I know it's like I can't quit it, you know? It's just there inviting me in every day.
What has the flag color been?
Well, there's no flag at Belmont Harbor.
Grace!
So I don't know. They don't tell us if there's like...
You've got to Google it.
Whatever's in the lake. Although that is where I see dead fish. So,
oh, great.
But
yes.
The dead fish are further from the area where I swim. But I mean, it's a lake, so I feel like it's all...
It's all in there.
The same water.
You have to Google it, okay?
I'm not going to Google every day if there's bacteria in the harbor.
Oh, okay.
I don't have that kind of time.
But you're going to Google whether or not you have a flesh-eating bacteria.
I haven't Googled it yet.
Okay.
But that could be what's affecting my tongue, so stay tuned.
She's got a tongue issue.
Anyway.
She burnt it on her mac and cheese, but she won't admit it.
Well, I don't think I could burn the bottom of my tongue on mac and cheese.
You can burn anything on mac and cheese, okay?
Okay. Anyways, welcome everyone.
Hello, welcome. You're listening
I'm Grace.
to... Grace? You cutting me off?
Well, I thought you were taking a break. Okay, I'm Grace.
Fine.
That's
Grace.
Chelsea.
That's me.
And
oh my God,
we're the Good Evening Girls.
You're listening to Two Girls, One Crossword.
Your favorite weekly Podword Crosscast.
Yes, and we got through the intro.
That was our worst intro. We should
in a very long time.
We should just say it in unison. Practice like a...
All right, let's practice right now.
No, not right now. I'm not going to do that to our listeners. We'll practice off mic.
We can do it to our listeners. We've put them through worse. I say. That's what I say.
That's true. Shall we get into our heights and shites?
Let's get into it. No corrections corners. So
no.
Goodbye to that. But let's move into hits and shits. I want to start by saying that Lollapuzzoola was last weekend. By the time you're listening to this, it will be 2 weekends old, I believe. Or at least there's a weekend, whatever. It happened like August 15th, okay? So depending on when you're listening. It was the 13th annual Lollapuzzoola. It was really fun. Grace and I kind of hopped in for a little bit. We were, just watching the chat. We were not participating. We were a little shy, but it was fun.
No, because they put everyone's times on an Excel sheet. I don't want everyone to know how much we suck.
That's
not
true.
Yet, at least.
That's true. But we did kind of stalk the chat. We really enjoyed like the interviews and the games. It was fun to see people that we've seen their names in the newspapers or online or whatever. And like, congrats to Brian and Patrick for like doing a great job.
You will not believe how hard it was for me not to just write nonsense in that chat. As I am wont to do, but
do not get Grace and I on a Zoom chat together because we will harass people we do not know. And you're lucky we did not do that at Lollapuzzoola.
Not harass is a strong word. We just like to create chaos.
Yes.
But I controlled myself because I was like, these people are here.
There's multiple times she said, should I say this? Should I say this? And I was like, you absolutely should, but you probably shouldn't.
I had lines on deck ready to go, but I know it wasn't about me, so I was just there to watch. But,
maybe next year.
If I participate next year and I pay money to be in it, then I may use the chat for all my whims and fancies.
There's a couple winners. I'm going to shout them out. The winner of the Express division was David Plotkin. Congrats. The local division was Ryan Booker. Snaps to you. The pairs division, the team was Kevin Cardy, Vivian Cooperberg, and Yuval Wigderson. And then the downs only division was Eric Agard. And apparently Eric came in 4th overall with his score. So
only doing downs.
Bananas.
That is insane to me.
Y'all are bananas.
He kind of scares me. I feel like
I'm constantly impressed. Yes, they're all geniuses. I'm really impressed by all of you, but you also scare the living shit out of me. Okay? And that's all I have to say about Lollapuzzoola. Congrats, everyone. Good times. Fun times.
I have a shit follow-up from last week. I talked about how USA Today, their ad, when you're done with the puzzle, was for the NRA. And I don't know if they heard me, but it's not the NRA anymore. But now it's Trump. It's like, are you a Trump supporter? Yes or no? And then it says, like, TMA, which is like the Make America Great Again campaign. I don't know what it is, but it says at the bottom. What is going on?
Somebody needs to get this resolved.
Yeah, well, even if it's targeted ads, it's doing a really bad job because I don't know why they would ever target that to me. But anyway, so just thought that was interesting.
It's a nice update.
They're trolling me. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I had a shit this week, but we'll get there. I can't remember what it was. Oh, a very minor shit, and I just think it doesn't pass the breakfast, test. From the Wednesday, August 19th New York Times by Brandon Copy. 9 down, long shot, ? And the answer was sniper. I just don't like to think about being sniped while I'm doing my crossword. So that's just like I guess I just have an aversion to like gun related content at all. But I mean, it's fine. It was a minor shit. Mm-hmm. Not even really a shit, just like a general discomfort.
I feel you. I had a hit from the Incubator crossword, August 13th, Rearrangements by Kate Hawkins. And this puzzle was fun. There were a lot of good ones, but one that I liked is like the type of clue that I chuckle at. 9 across, Messing Around on Set, ? It was Deborah, like Deborah messing.
Oh, very nice.
Yeah, but they also had a fun theme here. I'm just going to read one of them. But at first I had no idea what they were talking about, but I figured it out. So 37 across, Smash the Patriarchy or Wretched Styles, ? And the answer was Pathetic Harry. So Pathetic Harry is if you jumble around the patriarchy, the word, and then Wretched Styles is capitalized. So Harry Styles, formerly from One Direction, now a
very nice
solo artist. But another example was Screw the Gender Binary or Devastating Farewell, and it was Heart-Ending Bye, which if you, move that around, it spells the gender binary. So
very
anyways,
nice.
It took me a long time to figure out what the heck was going on.
You're like,
embarrassed to say, but I ended up getting it, and I did enjoy it.
Very nice. Speaking of themes that we've liked, the Wednesday, August 19th New York Times by Brendan Copey, the theme was really interesting. It's kind of, I'm going to do my best to describe it to you. Basically, the perimeter of the grid, which is a square, if you do crosswords, you know this, was a series of interconnected phrases clued as 4-letter answers. So like these phrases make up either compound words or are just 2 word phrases. I'll give you some examples. So 1 across was with 5 across, means of survival. And the answer was life. With 5 across was with 9 across, place to yacht shop. So 5 across was boat. So it would be life, boat. Okay. And then the next one, 9 across, with 16 down, decisive confrontation. And the answer for 9 across was show. So the means of survival is a life, boat. And then the place to yacht shop is boat, show. And then a decisive confrontation is show, down. And it goes all the way around the board, and it ends with 27 down, with 1 down, company named for 2 magazines, Time, Life. So it kind of like did all the way around the board. I really liked that.
Wow, I didn't have no idea how long that would take to make work.
Right, agreed. So that was fun. Yeah, I also really liked the theme from the Sunday, August 16th New York Times by Frances Heaney. You did a little bit of this. We kind of like virtually did this one. The theme was basically alternative cinemas or alternative movie titles. Basically, famous movies are clued as alternative titles for other famous movies. Here's an example. 23 across. Alternative title for The Dirty Dozen was 12 Angry Men. 2 separate movies, but their titles are interchangeable for the plots of either movie, which I think was fun. Or alternative title for Cleopatra, The African Queen. Alternative title for Titanic, Watership Down. You get the gist. I thought that was fun. Another cool one from that puzzle was, I just scrolled. 56 across, Monopoly token elected by an internet vote. And the answer was cat. We talked about Monopoly on episode 54 and like how we were kind of shocked about how the Monopoly tokens have changed over time. And I did not realize that cat was voted like by an internet poll as like a new token in Monopoly. Interesting.
That makes sense. The internet does like cats a lot.
It does. Oh, here's not a shit conversation starter from that puzzle. I was just kind of like, huh? 91 down. Soothing summer soak. The answer was, it's 8 letters. So the answer was cold bath.
Oh, right. I remember that one.
Do you soothingly cold bath yourself in the summer?
That's like what athletes do. I guess actually when I didn't have AC, would take a freezing shower and then I would put baby powder all over myself and sleep on one single sheet on my bed like a starfish. It was extremely hot.
Yeah, like when I was in New Orleans and it was like 95 degrees, 100% humidity for 5 days straight, and the place we were staying did not have air conditioning, you'd wake up, take an ice cold shower, you step out of the shower, and you're sweating already. And it's just like, but yeah, I guess if you don't have AC, maybe you do cold baths.
Yeah, but it sounds terrible. I would not do it now that I have a window unit.
Terrible. What else you got?
I just liked this example. We talk about like meme cluing and how it's usually Grumpy Cat or something really old, which...
Or Doge.
Yeah, Grumpy Cat isn't that old, but in internet culture, if it's like 2 years old, then it's ancient. But a good example of a current meme clue was from the USA Today crossword by Stella Zawistowski, 42, on August 18th, 42 across. The term galaxy brain originated from one. You know, like the memes where it's like the person's head is exploding.
Yeah, no, that was a good one.
Yeah. So I was happy to see that. And I also liked the USA Today, August 22nd puzzle by Evan Kalish, 20 across. Probably the reason all these boys got crushes in a Lil Mama hit.
Lip gloss.
Yeah.
Oh my God. My lip gloss be popping, my lip gloss be cool. All the boys keep stopping. They chase me after school.
I think so.
Mac L'Oreal, yep, because I'm worth it. The way you put it on, so perfect. Anyway, I used to know every single line to that song.
Apparently.
I went through a lip gloss phase. Okay, thank you, little mama. Did you do the Wednesday New Yorker puzzle?
No, I didn't.
That was an Amy Lucido.
Oh, okay.
I didn't do any of the other New Yorkers, but when I saw it was Amy, I was like, of course I have to do it. And I wasn't going to put anything in from that because you and I are always like, we love Amy's puzzles so much. But I had to. Some of these were really cool. I liked this one, 11 down, the Parent Trap style trick. And the answer is switcheroo.
Ooh.
Very good. 24 down, like a lot of words on Jerry Springer. Bleeped out. Or 28 across, display of derision sometimes. Slow clap. That was good. Or, and this was cool, 25 down, Parasite director. The answer is Bong Joon-ho. If you haven't seen Parasite, go watch Parasite. But it was a Parasite kind of week because there's 3 Parasite clues across all the puzzles I did this week. There's another one from the Monday USA Today, August 17th, Eric Agard, 19 across, 2019 film with a metaphorical rock, Parasite. And then Tuesday USA Today by Stella, 64 across, Parasite star blank Kang Ho, and the answer was song. So, I mean, if this is telling me anything, it's telling me that people need to just rewatch or watch for the first time Parasite. So
I have a question though. In Eric's clue, it said 2019 film with a quote metaphorical rock. Why did he put metaphorical in quotes?
You know, I didn't even think about it. That's a great question.
I'll send him a Twitter DM. He'll be like, please leave me alone. I'm extremely busy. Well, from that puzzle, the Eric puzzle on USA Today, I felt like this one was very timely. 11 down, gets ready to talk on a conference call. It was
unmute. Yes, that's so good.
You got to mute yourself. Otherwise, I hear you breathing and, smacking your lips together and drinking out of your ice cold water bottle.
Yeah, so I was on mute when we started this call today, and Grace yelled at me. She was
like, I did not yell at you. I just said I can't hear you. You couldn't hear me. Oh, no, I guess you could hear me. I just said I couldn't hear you.
Grace, I'm dramatic. I like to make things more dramatic than they are. That's all I have. I did a lot of puzzles this week, but I had to condense down to this.
Yes, that's all I got too. So should we flip?
I guess we should flip.
Flipperoo.
Switcheroo. Aha. Okay. Flipping the coin now. It's tails.
That's me.
It's Grace.
Okay, my topic is from the USA Today crossword from August 22nd by Evan Kalish, and it is 7 down, robotics engineer Barbie e.g. And the answer is doll. So the clue is not actually that hard of a clue, but I'm talking about Barbie.
Whoa, what a great topic.
For some reason, I felt like we had talked about this before, but we hadn't. We definitely need to make a list of all our topics because it's getting hard to remember now.
It is getting very difficult. We should make a spreadsheet.
Yeah. Anyways, So Barbie, there is so much to cover with Barbie. So I cannot go into like every iteration Barbie has made. She has like movies and books and all this bullshit. But I'm going to talk about how she started and like some of her controversy, especially how it relates to race and body image.
Yes.
And all that good stuff. So
let's do it.
Let's start back in the day. Do you know when Barbie came around?
I would guess the 40s.
No, 1959. Close though.
Okay,
so Barbie was created by a woman named Ruth Handler. Ruth and her husband found Mattel 15 years earlier. So Barbie was not Mattel's first thing, although it is by far their most successful product today.
Sure.
So Ruth got the idea for Barbie after seeing her daughter, Barbara, play with paper dolls for hours. And she realized that there was a need for 3D dolls that, girls could dress up and also, quote, allow little girls to imagine the future. So that was kind of the point. Her vision for Barbie was that Barbie could show girls that they had options and they could do whatever they wanted to do. Whether it was successful in that, we'll see. Ruth bought the right to Build Lily. Build Lily is a German doll that was based off a sexy comic book character for adults. So Build Lily was like the original Barbie is what she kind of, used to like build a prototype off of. So Build Lily was originally supposed to be a gag gift for men, but in Germany, like kids started playing with them, so they became more popular like among children. But what was special about Build Lily was that she had 3 patents that were new in doll making that we see in Barbie today. So the head and neck were not one form connected with a seam at the shoulders, but the seam was in the middle of the neck behind the chin. So, like Barbie's head is on her neck.
Yep.
The hair was not rooted, but it was a cutout scalp that was attached by a hidden metal screw. And I don't think that that's how Barbie is today, but
I don't think
first
so,
one,
but
yeah.
Interesting.
And the legs did not sprawl out when she was sitting, which, Barbie keeps her legs together in that famous point, toe point, which we'll talk about. Okay, so Ruth first came across this doll when she was vacationing in Switzerland in 1956. And, she knew that this was like the type of doll that she needed for what she wanted to do. She thought the doll could be used to like dress up in clothing and also hold like adult roles and careers.
Sure.
Because it wasn't like a baby doll, I feel like a lot of dolls were baby dolls, but Barbie was an adult.
Right. How similar does this, German doll look to like, the early Barbies?
She looks kind of similar. Definitely different. Not like, the original Barbie, she looked like a 50s pinup doll, kind of. Yeah. Because that was like the style at the time.
Right.
Like the Build Lily wore like, more scandalous clothing. Although the original Barbie was wearing a zebra, like a strapless zebra one-piece swimsuit. So there is that. So the OG Barbie debuted at the American Toy Fair in New York City in 1959. And she was based off of that 1950s glamour, like Elizabeth Taylor, Marilyn Monroe type.
Nice.
She had red lips, black eyeliner, and perfectly arched eyebrows.
Of course.
And her eyes also were to the side. She had kind of like this coy look to the side, as if she was like, kind of looking. So she was like kind of sexy.
Okay, yes.
A little bit. In its first year, 300,000 Barbie dolls were sold. They went for $3, which today would be $25, so not that cheap.
Wow, no.
But a first edition Barbie doll today can be sold for more than $25,000. So if you know anyone who has them.
Oh my God, I wish I did.
And if you didn't catch this, Barbie is named after Ruth's daughter, Barbara.
Okay.
And 2 years later, Ken Carson came on the scene, and Ken is named after Ruth's son, Ken.
Okay.
Ken and Barbie are dating. I don't know what that's about, but I could see. The son was like, okay, so you've created this iconic doll named after my sister, and what do I get? Nothing.
You get to be the male sex accessory.
Yeah. Okay, so in like in 1960s, Barbie was kind of, from her arrival on the scene, she was kind of criticized as being like too sexy and a sex symbol. So in 1963, in response to that, I don't know how, Barbie created Midge Hadley, who was Barbie's best friend. And I think Midge is supposed to be like homely looking.
Oh my God.
I don't know.
Of course.
I mean, she's still pretty because she's a doll.
Yeah.
But I don't know if maybe it was like, oh no, Barbie is not just for Ken, like she has friends too.
Right.
And then a year later, Barbie's first little sister was announced, Skipper Roberts.
Okay.
So Skipper was like the middle sister, and then Kelly is the littlest sister.
Okay, I was going to say, because I remember Kelly from my childhood.
Kelly is now Chelsea, though, by the way.
Really?
Yeah, they changed her name. I don't know why.
Spelled the way I spell it?
I think so.
Oh my God, Destiny.
I liked the Kelly dolls too, though. I mean, I liked all Barbies.
Agreed.
Actually, so I played with Barbies when I was really little. I was definitely into Barbies. I had none of them ever had clothes, but I really liked the miniature ones, like the Kellys, because I liked all things miniature. I eventually grew out of Barbie. I never got into the movies or anything, but
I definitely watched the movies. I had the Barbie Dreamboat. I had the Barbie Dream House.
Oh my gosh.
With the elevator that worked.
Can I come over?
Yes. We can
Actually,
play right now.
I did have a Barbie Dream House because I remember someone gave it, someone's kid who grew out of it gave it to me. So I did have a Barbie Dream House.
I got most of my Barbie stuff secondhand because, whatever. But the Barbie Dreamboat I got for Christmas one year when I was really young. And it had a pool in the back. So you could have your Barbies.
In the boat? Oh, I think I remember that. Yeah, it's pretty cool.
Super bougie. Before I even knew what bougie was.
Yeah. But I do find it interesting. So most of my Barbies were white with blonde hair. Some of my Kellys, I had one Hispanic Kelly, and then I have some other dolls with darker hair, and then I had a Pocahontas one. Mm-hmm. But the majority of them were, the typical white blonde Barbie.
Yeah, I think I had maybe one that was tanner. I don't remember. I don't know if it was Hispanic or just this is the Barbie that is beach Barbie, so she's tan. Yeah. I don't know, but most of them are white. Yeah.
I also remember I got the Spice Girl Barbies, and those were so freaking cool.
I am so jealous of you.
Yeah, they were the best. But I remember being so enamored by them because they were, there was Scary Spice, and she is black, and she has this awesome hair with the two little buns on top. And then Sporty Spice had she had long black hair and a high ponytail, but she had a tattoo and a gold tooth. I mean, they looked like the actors playing them. So it was fun to have Barbies that were, a
little bit more diverse.
Yeah.
Different. Yeah.
Edgier.
Agreed.
In ways I'd never seen Barbie before. Because also the Spice Girl Barbies had the best clothes ever.
Of course.
Okay. But anyway, so back to original Barbie when she first came out. I'm gonna get into the controversy of Barbie, and let me tell you, there's a lot. I'm not even going over every dumb thing that they've done. And they do have a little bit of a redemption at the end, kind of. We'll talk about it. But okay. So in 1963, Barbie Babysits was released. She came with a number of accessories, including a baby in a crib, a telephone, a few bottles of soda, and a book. The book was called How to Lose Weight, and on the back it said, "Don't eat."
Oh my God.
Can you believe that?
I'm acting surprised, but I'm also not surprised at all.
Again, this was the early 1960s, so.
Yeah. Was it controversial then? Or
yes.
Okay.
Well, yes, people were upset about it. But despite the backlash, in 1965, 2 years later, the book was included as an accessory for Sleepover Barbie.
Oh my God.
But it gets worse. So Sleepover Barbie also came with a scale that was permanently set to 110 pounds. Okay, and let's remember that Barbie's supposed to be a grown woman, and if you ratio her out, she's 5'9".
Yeah, of course.
Yeah. I remember in middle school, we had to do this assignment that we had to, measure Barbie or get Barbie's measurements and then scale her to be the size, what she would be if she was a real human. And her neck was a foot long. Her ratio is all messed up.
All sorts of effed.
Yeah. Okay. In 1967, Mattel debuted Colored Francie.
What?
Yeah.
They called her Colored Francie?
Yes, this was 1967.
Yeah.
Okay. She was the first black doll to enter Barbie's network of friends. So Barbie had other friends at this point, but in 1967, she got her first black friend. Both Francie and Christy, who came out a year later, were manufactured with dark skin, but they had the same mold that was used for Caucasian Barbie, meaning all of the dolls had the exact same facial features. They just had different skin colors.
Gotta love it.
Yeah. In 1970, this is more of the Barbie we know today, Malibu Barbie was born. So she has a more natural approach. She's not wearing the heavy pinup makeup. She has an open smile and her eyes faced forward. Mm-hmm. Malibu Barbie also projected an empowered and relaxed persona, and feminists at the time were happy about that. They were happy about her eyes facing forward. That's
good.
What they were fighting for at the time.
Right.
Okay, but then in the mid-70s, they released a doll called Growing Up Skipper. Okay, so Skipper was Barbie's younger sister. We talked about like the middle-aged sister. And growing up Skipper was supposed to represent the physical change from girl to woman. So by rotating growing up Skipper's arms, children could watch her torso lengthen and her breasts protrude, thus increasing her bra size.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I actually think
I can understand the intention behind that, but like
a doll that like shows puberty, I feel like could be useful for sure.
Right.
But I don't know if grown-up Skipper is the right way to... Although let me tell you, if that doll was around when I was that age, I would have 100% wanted it. For sure.
Well, I really wanted that doll the baby that grew up. You had it like as a baby and then it could grow into like a 2-year-old toddler. Do you remember that? There's infomercials for it all the time.
Barbie or a random?
Just like a baby doll.
Okay.
Dude, but like I loved that idea.
Well, I had a Barbie that was pregnant. And
I remember that was controversial.
And you could take her belly off and there was like a baby inside. Chrissy, I believe, is the baby's name. I don't know why I know that. That did not come up in my research, but I remember that. Okay. So growing up Skipper did not go over well and she was discontinued. Okay. So then in 1979, 10 years after Barbie's black friend Francie was introduced, the company released the first official Barbies in black and Hispanic varieties. So I was like kind of confused about this. I knew that Barbie had friends of all different races, but there is black Barbie and Hispanic Barbie, and she is like supposed to be Barbie.
Okay.
And I believe, I don't know if they still do this, but they would call them on the package like black Barbie or, Hispanic Barbie, which I don't think they do that anymore. It's like, just call her Barbie. People can see what she looks like.
Right, they can pick what variety they want, yeah.
Yeah. So that was in 1979. And then in 1981, they released Oriental Barbie.
Oh,
so
God.
there's that. Again, this was like the 80s, so things were different then, but still. Mm-hmm. Okay. But also in the 80s, it was a time in American history when a lot of women were joining the workforce. So this is when Barbie kind of like started taking up all these careers. So 1980s saw the introduction of Dr. Barbie, Astronaut Barbie, Pilot Barbie, Day to Night Barbie, which came out in 1985, which was, some people call it the yuppie Barbie. So she had like office accessories and then an evening gown she could change into, after work to go out in the city. Like
young urban professionals. Oh my God.
We have to bring our evening gowns to work so that we can go out after. Okay. So then in the 90s, she started off on a good foot in the 90s. In 1992, she ran for president, which I will talk about later.
Okay, Barbie.
But then it really went downhill from there.
I remember so many Barbie controversies from our childhood. The pregnancy one, I remember specifically on all these talk shows, on the radio, just people complaining about the pregnancy one. And I'm sure you're going to talk about more, but I remember there being so many things.
In my opinion, isn't even that bad.
No, I thinking back to it now, but I just remember people talking about it.
Yeah. I feel like, people would get mad about stupid stuff like that. But, I don't know. Okay. In July 1992, Mattel released a Barbie doll that could talk back. She had a little voice box inside her.
Interesting.
She's called Teen Talk Barbie. She had 270 programmable phrases, but each Barbie came with maybe 5 to 10 phrases or whatever, and they each had a different mix, so you wouldn't necessarily have the same one that your friend had. But some of the phrases were, I love shopping, and math class is tough.
Oh my God.
And some other ones that were kind of problematic. So there was public criticism from the American Association of University Women, and they removed the math class is tough line. Because of the way the dolls were created, only about 2% had that line in it, but the people who had bought those dolls could get it replaced for free.
Oh, so, wow. Very nice.
Okay.
I'm going to take mine in for replacement now, actually.
Yeah. In 1997, Mattel launched something called the Oreo Fun Barbie. So this is good for any crossword constructors out there that need a clue for Oreo.
Okay. I love this.
Yeah. So this was... You won't later. Okay, this was a partnership. You'll see. This was a partnership with Nabisco, and it was meant to be a doll that you could eat Oreos with, whatever.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you could eat the doll. Okay.
No. They had Oreo clothing, whatever.
Okay.
They came with like little Oreos. So there was a white and black version of Oreo Fun Barbie, but this caused an outcry in the black community because Oreo is a like derogatory word that means like, oh, you're black on the outside, but you're white on the inside. And obviously that is problematic for many reasons. So the dolls were like pulled from all the shelves, and it is now one of the most sought after collector's items. But I think this is one of those things that shows that you need to have diverse people in your upper management to tell you, no, don't do that.
Hello, beep, beep,
That's
beep.
like, yeah. Pepsi's like weird campaign with Kendall Jenner. You know, if they had someone being like, yeah, you probably shouldn't do that. Someone could have told them like, hey, you shouldn't have like a black Oreo Barbie because it doesn't come across well.
Because.
Yeah. Okay, then in the 90s, they came out with a Share a Smile Becky doll. Becky was in a wheelchair, a pink wheelchair. The issue was that the wheelchair could not fit in Barbie's elevator in her dream house, and it also could not fit in it means she couldn't ride in Barbie's cars.
Oh.
But I believe they did fix it. So they created them so the elevators could be wheelchair accessible.
Oh my God.
Okay, so then in the 2000s...
This is, yeah, okay. And you're not even covering, like... No. Nearly all of them. I'm sorry. Okay. Go ahead.
Although I do have to say, like, Barbie at the time, like, it's hard to, like, take stuff out of context. They were doing some, progressive things at the time.
Sure.
But I think a lot of things could have been avoided had they had more diversity in their, like, creative teams and stuff.
A lot of things could be avoided.
Yeah. Okay, so then in 2000, things starting to get marginally better, right? In 2016... not that long ago, Barbie fashionistas were introduced, and they come in 4 body types, 7 skin tones, 22 eye colors, and 24 hairstyles.
Wow.
22 eye colors and only 7 skin tones? What are the 22 eye colors? I don't understand. Like, does she have red eyes? I don't know. But yeah, so she, comes in all these different skin tones and different hairstyles, and she also got bendable ankles, so she can wear flats. Because, a big issue with Barbie is that...
she only wears heels.
Yeah, and her toes are pointed. She cannot stand on her own. And she can't stand on her own in her heels. So
could you imagine playing with a Barbie with flat feet? That's just... It'd be weird. I mean, it's fine, but it just feels like so unnatural thinking about the Barbies that we had.
And that was in 2016. So not that long ago that they did that. Okay.
Wow.
So another new range of Barbie dolls launched with the hashtag #TheDollEvolves.
Okay, what does that mean?
This was all about Barbie's like body image. It was a response to people saying like she's unrealistic. So there were 3 new body shapes: petite, tall, and curvy. Why they need I feel like Barbie's already tall.
Barbie is already massively tall.
Well, she's 5'9", so she's not
a giant.
Like a giant, but still.
What does Nikki say? She's a mammoth, obviously.
Wait,
do you know that?
No. From what?
There's a TikTok sound where like Nicki Minaj is talking about being a character in like the new Ice Age, but people take it out of context and they're like me talking about, I don't know, my dog. She's a mammoth, obviously, but like she's literally talking about her character who is a literal mammoth. Anyway, continue.
Okay. So yeah, she comes in all different body shapes, and they can be mixed and matched with a number of skin tones, eye colors, and hairstyles. So
is this like something you order online? You can like customize it, sort of like American Girl doll?
I'm not sure. For sure you can do it online. I'm not sure what the in-store
options
situation is, but
interesting.
I will kind of talk about that a little bit. So in 2018, Mattel released a new Inspiring Women collection that features 3 groundbreaking history-making women: Amelia Earhart, Frida Kahlo, and Katherine Johnson.
Nice.
Okay. But what I wanted to talk about with Barbie's diversity is that even though Barbie has taken steps to diversify their dolls, which it's a good step forward, it still feels like white is the default. And this is also the opinion that I found online.
Yeah.
Everything else is kind of an alternative. Like there's Barbie and then there's Black Barbie,
Right, exactly.
And I was reminded, I was looking, like I said, or I don't know if I mentioned this, my niece really likes my Kelly dolls. She's at my parents' house right now, and she started playing with them. So I was looking online to see if I could find any, like, Kelly play sets to, go with her, like a camper or, a kitchen, a schoolroom, whatever. They have all types of stuff. And play sets usually come with a doll. And when I was looking online, I was specifically looking for one that came with a darker skinned doll, like a black doll or a Hispanic doll, because, like I said, most of the Kellys that I have are all white. And it was hard. They didn't all, like, most of them came with the blonde Barbie. as the default doll. And I
Right.
found this same sentiment shared online. People said in stores it's the same thing. It's, and the like, if you're a parent and your kid has Barbies and you're buying all these play sets, you just start accumulating all of these blonde Barbies, and that's why everyone has like a million blonde Barbies.
Right.
So it's like, while Barbie is taking steps to diversify its dolls, it's not making it easy for like parents to buy. So I think you can, your kids can play with Barbies in a, healthy way, I guess. But it's like you have to go out of your way to make it diverse, as opposed to some other dolls like Bratz dolls.
Oh my God, they were doing it right.
Yeah.
Well,
or
they probably had some sort of controversy, but like from the beginning, I feel like they were much more diverse.
They were diverse. Of course, they still had like unrealistic bodies and they had no feet, but they could stand on their feet because their feet were their shoes. You would like to change their shoes. You also had to change their feet if you've never seen a Bratz doll.
If you don't know, now you know.
But Bratz dolls came out. They hit the scene. It was 4 of them, and I think only one of them was white. There was like Hispanic, Asian, Black.
It was amazing.
And they had like big lips, and they wore like cool makeup.
Amazing makeup, and like you wonder why. Basically, the style for millennials now is Bratz dolls from the 90s.
Like
so
Instagram baddies. But something else I found online, the LOL surprise dolls. I think that's like newer. Those are also like diverse dolls from the get-go. Granted, Barbie came out a long time ago when, all Bratz and LOL surprise came out more recently, but still, I think the issue with Barbie is like, yes, they have taken steps in the right direction, but they still make it hard to get diverse Barbies.
You're right. And I think too, like, it's because Barbie's been around for so long, it has like this like cultural momentum behind it that imagine like if Mattel was like, you know what? No, these criticisms are true, which they are. Like we need to be more diverse with our packaging. We need to kind of make people of color or Barbies more in the forefront, in the foreground. And maybe if they just started leading with Black or Latino or Asian Barbies, the outrage I feel from people who are like used to white, blonde Barbie and white, brown-haired Ken, like they would flip a nut. They would flip a nut. Whereas like these newer, toys have a much easier time introducing diversity because they don't have that cultural weight.
That's true.
Which is very sad.
Okay, and then these are just some other Barbie like fun facts, I guess. Barbie first ran for president in 1992, and she's run every year since, except for 1996. She took a break off the election, and like each time, the first time she ran, she came with like a American flag ball gown. But then after that, she got like, but that one did come with a like red power suit she could change into. But then after that, she came in like suits and stuff. In 2012, she came with wedge heels instead of her regular heels, so she could stand on her own 2 feet. That was the President Barbie's the first one that was able to stand on her own 2 feet. In 2016, she finally got a running mate who is also a woman, and then she's not running in 2020, which is great because we don't need any confusion on the ballot.
No.
And then, do you remember in 2004, Barbie and Ken broke up?
I very vaguely remember this. Yes. This was like a big minute.
Yeah, so this was a time when a lot of celebrities were breaking up, namely like Britney and Justin. So they had an amicable separation. Barbie got to keep the dream house because it was always in her name. But after a 7-year breakup, they did get back together. So they are back together, if you're wondering.
I actually love this for them. They like left each other to find themselves, and they came back better people. This is exactly what I needed to hear today.
Okay, there was a Totally Stylin' Tattoos Barbie that came out.
Yes, I remember this one.
You could put tattoos on her. And then, one thing I read said that she came with a back tattoo, a lower back tattoo that said Ken. And I saw a picture of it, but I can't tell if it's real or not. I only saw one picture of it. But however, people complained about that, obviously.
I remember this being a big controversy too.
But then in 2011, a Barbie with even more elaborate tattoos across her neck, chest, and arms and shoulders were launched in partnership with LA fashion company Tokidoki, but that was more for adults. Like very limited amount were made, and it was for adults.
More like collectors.
But if you want like a tatted up Barbie, it does exist. Okay, and then this was like a nice thing to end on. Mattel produced a bald friend of Barbie named Ella, and she was created to help young girls with cancer. Only a limited amount were made, and they were distributed directly to hospitals. In 2014, there was a petition to get them to produce more, and Mattel agreed to produce more Ella Barbie dolls.
Amazing. That's great.
Yeah. And that's it. That's that on that.
If you haven't heard of Barbie's vlog, video blog, you can go and find that on YouTube. She does some really great, like...
Yeah, she actually does talk about, like, serious topics like depression and...
I think the one that kind of shot her to, fame, to older people, not just for young girls, was Barbie talking about, like, why do I say sorry for things that I haven't done anything wrong? Like, stop saying sorry so much. Like, that's a thing that, like, women and young girls are kind of taught to be more amenable and, accommodating, and they apologize for things that, like, you didn't do anything. You literally didn't do anything, and you're apologizing for not doing anything. And not even, like, didn't do anything wrong. You just didn't do anything. Yeah. Sometimes I catch myself in an email being like, sorry to bother you, but...
I know. I start my emails with sorry, then I go back and erase them.
Yeah, exactly. And so I really liked that vlog from Barbie. Would recommend it for anybody who's listening.
Yeah, so like I said, they are making good steps, but...
Yeah.
They still have a ways
I also
to go.
loved Bratz dolls, man. When they hit the scene, everything changed. Everything changed.
I never got into Bratz because by the time they came out, I wasn't into, like... At that time, I was not into, like, clothes and dolls like that.
I for sure was.
Yeah.
For sure, still. It was great. Great time in my life. Great topic. I loved it.
Thanks.
So my topic comes from the Monday, August 17th, USA Today by Eric Agard, and it is from 33 Across. Lock with a supposed monster. And the answer is
I knew you were going to
Ness.
do this one of these days.
I was wondering if you would do this actually today. I was like, this could potentially be.
It would be one of my... This is like a topic that perfectly intersects both of us because it's like the history and Scotland for you, and it's like the monster and like,
you don't know me
scariness
at all.
for me.
Exactly. You tend to do like a lot of like these like cryptozoology like creatures, like the Kraken, which is why I was like, maybe she'll do this to kind of continue. And you did mermaids, like her aquatic beasts theme she's got going on. But you did
mermaids
not.
aren't beasts. Okay,
You're
they're
right.
sexy.
They are sexy. We did learn that they are all of mermaids have come to us because of horny sailors. So
Yes.
what else do you need? So yeah, I'm talking about Loch Ness. We're going to start by talking about the actual lake, or loch, as they say in loch in Scotland. Loch Ness is a freshwater loch in the Scottish Highlands. It is 23 miles long and 2 miles wide, and it sits 52 feet above sea level. It is the second largest Scottish loch after Loch Lomond, and it is the second deepest loch after Loch Morar. And then through a series of like interconnecting lochs, rivers, canals, you can actually go from Loch Ness all the way out to the North Sea, should you so desire. The water visibility is extremely low. It actually...
Because there's a monster in there.
Because there's a monster. It literally looks pitch black. And it's due to this thing that, apparently the Scots call it liquid sunshine, in quotes, which is basically rainwater or like runoff water that comes down from like the surrounding hills into the loch. The loch is surrounded by like peat bogs, so it basically takes the rainwater, turns it black because of the peat, and then goes into the loch, which keeps the water black and dark.
So it's just really dirty.
Dirty. One of the coolest facts I found out about the Loch Ness is it has the largest volume of fresh water in Great Britain, with 263 billion cubic feet of water. I cannot even fathom what that means. But, so even though it's not the deepest lake, and even though it's not the largest lake, it is the largest body of water in the UK, okay? It has more water than all the lakes in England and Wales put together.
Yeah, so suck on that.
Yeah, you friggin' idiots. And outside of all those really interesting and unique Loch Ness facts, I think the only reason most people give a crap about the loch is because of the potential monster that lives within its depths. Ooh. Today, the monster is called the Loch Ness Monster, or if you're trying to, get a little affectionate, you can call her Nessie, but,
You named my daughter after the Loch Ness Monster! If you get that reference, please DM me.
Please, I beg you.
And don't Google it just to find out where it's from and then use that as an excuse to talk to me.
No. We need true fans only, okay? Mm-hmm. So yeah, you can call her Nessie, the Loch Ness Monster, whatever you're feeling. But the Loch Ness Monster is usually described as being very large, with a very long neck, and a body that has multiple humps that often protrude from the water. Interesting. So where does the legend of the Loch Ness Monster begin? So first of all, we have to go all the way back to the 1st century AD when the Romans arrived in Scotland, okay? And at the time, in the Highlands of Scotland, there was like a group of people, like a tribe of people called the Picts, Picts, and it comes from the Latin picti, which means like not colored, painted people or tattooed people. Mm-hmm. So they were called the Picts, right? And the Pictish have become known for like their art and their metalwork, specifically these things called Pictish stones, which are basically standing stones, and they're like a monumental stonework. Usually these stones were inscribed with drawings, symbols, designs, and some had inscriptions in Old Irish or Pictish languages. It's speculated that the remaining stones, there's like approximately 350 that still survive today, span pre-Christianization all the way through to the conversion of the Pictish people to Christianity. So you can see some stones lack Christian imagery, some of them have them, some like have crosses and other sorts of Christian imagery. It's hard to classify what these stones meant to the Pictish people, but there are theories that some of these stones were either gravestones or they were acting as personal memorials or like territory markers or symbols. They had like symbols of like various clans who lived in certain areas, things like that. Mm-hmm. So when the Romans arrived, they found these standing stones with their strange inscriptions, and they learned quickly that the Pictish people were fascinated, or at least found like some greater meaning to those animals that lived in the Scottish Highlands with them. A lot of these stones had designs of animals on them, like snakes, salmons, wolves, stags, that kind of thing. Mm-hmm. But there was one animal that continued to make an appearance on these standing stones that was neither lifelike nor recognizable. This strange beast looked to have a long beak or snout, flippers instead of feet, and looks similar to how we might picture like a kind of distorted seahorse.
Okay.
Yeah. And some scholars even describe it having the body of like an elephant, but its feet were flippers instead of like elephant toes.
Okay. Do you mean a seahorse, like an actual horse, the animal, or seahorse, the existing?
Seahorse, those like tiny, like little seahorse things.
With the little curly tails?
Yes. Similar to that. That's like
but
the
with
best
feet.
way. Exactly. That's like the best way that I can describe what this drawing looks like. And I'm sure we'll share some pictures of it on our Instagram or Twitter or whatever. But yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. So this beast became to be known as the Pictish beast or the Pictish elephant or the Pictish dragon. The inscriptions on these standing stones featuring animals, this creature accounts for about 40% of all Pictish animal depictions.
Okay. So it's like it had to exist then. Why were they obsessed with it?
Right. So it's thought to have been of great importance to the Pictish people, but for why? Was it because it was like a political symbol? Was it like a different clan's
logo,
basically? What is the word for that? I don't remember. Was it big within their mythology symbol. Or their religion,
Yeah.
Or maybe it's because it was real. Okay. So essentially the Pictish beast is like the earliest known evidence that there was some sort of aquatic beast lumbering around in the Scottish Highlands for the last 1,500 years. Okay? Which brings me to some other aquatic creatures in Scottish folklore, which in my opinion are similar enough to the Pictish beast that I think they are potentially all interconnected.
Okay.
So, first one, Kelpies. I feel like every mythology we've talked about to this point has some version of a Kelpie. It's basically like a shape-shifting water spirit. You talked about this in your mermaids episode where we talked about like the Russian ones. I forget what they're called. So the Kelpies are usually described as a black horse-like creature able to adopt human form. And anytime a human would like come across this Kelpie, the Kelpie would devour it. Cool. Then there's this other one, which is really interesting. The Yak Ishke is what it's called. And it is, again, another water spirit that is taking on a horse form, similar to a Kelpie, but much more vicious. It's a shapeshifter. It will either disguise itself as a pony, a horse, a very handsome man, or a massive bird of prey. Okay?
The birds. Birds aren't sexy.
Right.
Just accept it already.
They are. Okay. So, if a man mounts the yak ishke, while it's in its horse form, the man is only safe if they ride the yak ishke like to the interior of the land, so away from water. However, at a single glimpse or even smell of water, the yak ishke skin becomes adhesive, and the creature immediately goes into the deepest parts of the loch to drown their victim. And after the victim is drowned, it will tear the victim apart, eat the entire body except for the liver, which they send back to the surface to float and land like on the shore.
Okay, so just like don't mount a random horse then and you're Gucci.
Right, which the whole like glimpse of water or smell of water made me think of H2O. Clear! Again, only true fans, okay? No, clear the condensation. You wouldn't get it, listeners. Okay, so that's enough of H2O references. One of the earliest written references linking any of these aquatic monsters to Loch Ness specifically, because there's like many references of kelpies and yak ishkes like throughout folklore, but the first time it was actually mentioned in relation to Loch Ness comes from the biography of Saint Columba, who was the guy who introduced Christianity to Scotland in 565 AD. Thanks a lot, Columba. So, Columba was on his way to visit a Pictish king, probably to try to convert him and his people. Oh my God. And so he stopped along the shore of the Loch Ness. He witnessed a large beast about to attack a man swimming in the lake. So Columba raised his hand, invoked the name of God, and commanded the monster to flee, which the monster did, and the swimmer was saved. Okay. So then, that's like the first written, like, there's a monster.
But do you
in
believe
Loch
him?
Ness.
I feel like he just used that as a story to get these people to convert to Christianity.
I 100% think he used it to get these people to convert to Christianity.
Where's the swimmer? Where's his version of events?
Yeah, of course. Like, I need firsthand account from him. They don't have it. But that's enough of St. Columba. We're going to fast forward to the 20th century, 1933 to be exact. We're at Loch Ness, okay? A brand new road has been constructed along the shore of Loch Ness, making it more accessible for people to travel to and offering the first clear view of the northern side of the lake. It's said that a local couple was driving home on this new road when they witnessed a, quote, enormous animal rolling and plunging on the surface of the loch. They sold their story to the Inverness Courier, whose editor used the word monster to describe the animal. Thus, the Loch Ness monster was born.
Wait, sorry, what year was this?
1933.
Okay.
And after this initial account, the Loch Ness monster basically became a massive media phenomenon. It became a huge media frenzy, right? Another couple that same year claimed to see a massive creature on land walking across the shore road. That October, several London newspapers sent correspondents to Scotland to investigate the monster. A British circus offered a £20,000 reward for capturing the beast. And then that December, the Daily Mail hired an actor, film director, and big game hunter named Marmaduke Wetherell to track down the beast.
He's an actor, film director, and big game hunter? He's a perfect man for the job.
He's perfect, and the Daily Mail knew it, so they hired him. They sent him up to Scotland, and they were like, find the damn beast and bring it home, buddy. So, Wetherell, also known, I will occasionally call him Marmaduke, reported finding footprints of a large four-toed animal, which he estimated to be 20 feet long. He made plaster casts of the footprints and sent them off to the Natural History Museum in London for analysis. This only created more frenzy. So the area around Loch Ness became completely packed and full with tourists and monster hunters looking to either spot the beast or capture it. Okay. Sadly, the museum announced that the footprints belonged to a hippopotamus, probably made from a stuffed hippo's foot used as an umbrella stand or an ashtray. And then this incident specifically tainted the image of the Loch Ness monster and essentially discouraged any serious investigation into her existence for the time being. So, regardless of the legitimacy of Marmaduke's investigation, from the years 1933 to the mid-70s, there were over 4,000 sightings of the Loch Ness monster. Okay, 4,000 recorded sightings. It's said that many of these eyewitnesses were supposedly level-headed people, not people prone to flights of fancy. We've talked.
Yeah, how many monsters have they sighted?
Exactly. So these are like lawyers and priests, scientists.
I'm sorry, I don't trust any of those occupations.
I agree.
Maybe
a school
scientist.
teacher.
All right, I'll take the school teacher.
Even Grace Ella, a Nobel Prize recipient.
For what, though?
One
Someone I don't trust.
Dr. Richard Singh, 1952 Nobel Prize in Chemistry. Okay.
Sounds legit.
Sounds legit. In the 1950s, there was a doctor named Constance White. She began collecting like all of these eyewitness accounts, right? And sketches from people who had said that they saw the monster. She compiled them into a book and published it in 1957. It was called More Than Legend. And as a result, multiple investigations were then launched. One by the BBC, and then separate investigations by Oxford, Cambridge, and the University of Birmingham. How the University of Birmingham got involved, no idea, but glad to have you.
Is there a Birmingham in London?
I wonder.
I feel
Wait,
like
there is a Birmingham.
Yeah. Okay, I think there is.
This is my American showing. I'm like, Birmingham, Alabama? Why are they? Yeah.
I mean, good on them.
Yeah.
For getting involved.
Yeah, so the University of Birmingham went up there and they're like, hey,
y'all.
how y'all doing? We're here to check out for Loch Nessie Monster. Up until this point, it was mostly amateurs going out there, monster hunting, trying to find her. They only had like binoculars and cameras standing on the shore.
Aren't all monster hunters amateurs?
Okay, are you calling Oxford and Cambridge and the University of Birmingham?
They're not monster hunters. They're just doing it like for fun. But if you want to be an official monster hunter, no one takes you seriously. That's the problem with the field.
It's true. It is extremely difficult field to find anybody thinking that you're serious. Mm-hmm. Okay, so all these universities, they all go up there. Like I said, mostly amateur hunters were using like binoculars, cameras, whatever. These new expeditions were using sonar, however, to search the underwater environment for the first time. So of these 4 investigations, nothing conclusive was found, though apparently each investigation had a sonar operator who detected large underwater moving objects that they couldn't explain.
Oh?
What is going on? What is going on down there? I want to know why she's so shy. Just come out. We'll hang out.
People keep bugging her.
I know. She's like,
I would have come out if I was her. She's going to get killed and stuffed and put in a museum.
Yeah, I know. Okay. So then let's go to the 1970s. Sonar technology has advanced at this point and the expeditions picked up again. There's this, Boston-based Academy of Applied Science that wanted to do an expedition. It was led by this lawyer named Robert Rines, and they used this thing called side scan sonar, where they would take an underwater camera and they would take photos every 45 seconds with a strobe light illuminating the depths with a bright flash to try and capture a photo of the monster.
Oh god, that'd be so scary to watch in real time.
I know, right? So, in 1975, the sonar registered a large moving object, and the underwater camera took a photo of what looked like flippers on an aquatic creature.
Where's a manatee? Poor thing gets...
it honestly could be a manatee. That's one of the things that I did not see people, guesstimating. Do they have manatees in Scotland? Who knows?
I don't know. Let us know if you know.
Right? Of course, there were skeptics, as they are usually skeptics in this like cryptozoology type fields. Had the photo been digitally altered? Was the sonar traces the result of human error? And it didn't help that one of Britain's leading naturalists at the time, Sir Peter Scott, claimed that what Rines had discovered was a plesiosaur, basically like this ancient reptile that had gone extinct over 65 million years ago. And like true zoologists were like, we literally cannot take you seriously. A plesiosaur, honestly. So, in the subsequent years, there have been many, many investigations into the depths of Loch Ness. 1987, Operation Deep Scan found 3 underwater targets they couldn't explain. 1990, BBC sent this guy, Nicholas Witchell, up with a project called Project Urquhart, and they were basically going up to study the geology of the loch. They had no intentions of monster hunting.
Sure, that's what they all say.
Yeah, right. But the sonar operators detected a large moving underwater target and followed it for several minutes before it disappeared. And in 1997, Robert Rines came back and he conducted another expedition and detected another moving underwater target, which marine biologist Arne Carr called biological in nature, about 15 feet long, the size of a small whale.
Okay. I don't know, it's starting to add up to me.
I think so. So what could Nessie really be? So like if you're sitting over there and you're thinking it's not a frickin' plesiosaur like Sir Peter Scott, claims, what in the world can Nessie be? What are some explanations? Some people think it's a Wells catfish. If you are familiar with catfish at all, catfish are like frickin' massive. This type of catfish, this Wells catfish, is like native to Europe. And they can grow up to 13 feet long. Apparently,
oh, God.
I'm just, like, massive fish scare the crap out of me.
Yeah,
They're basically
same.
dinosaurs. Apparently, Victorians used to introduce this type of catfish into, like, locks to sport fish. So people are like, okay, maybe there's some, like, Wells catfish living in there. And because the lake is so deep, like, catfish, like, to kind of, like, hide.
They skim the bottom. Yeah.
Okay, and then we have, potentially, the Greenland shark. Jeremy Wade of River Monsters investigated the Loch Ness Monster in 2013 and concluded that the Loch Ness Monster was in fact a Greenland shark. They can grow up to 20 feet in length, and they habit the North American Ocean around Canada, Greenland, Iceland, Norway, and potentially Scotland. It's dark in color and has a small dorsal fin, so that might be like what people are seeing like as it pops out of the water. Mm-hmm. The most conclusive, explanation that I found was a giant frickin' eel. Okay.
Ew. Check, please.
Yeah, right. Check, please. Researchers from New Zealand were trying to catalog all the living species in the loch by extracting DNA samples. They ruled out the presence of any other large animals or monsters or prehistoric marine reptiles. The DNA samples found no traces of sturgeon, which is another massive fish, or catfish either. Though they did but every single DNA sample basically had some trace of eel DNA in it. And European eels are very common in Loch Ness and like most lochs in Scotland. They actually travel all the way from the Sargasso Sea all the way up to Scotland as babies and then live their adult lives in Scottish rivers and lochs. Here's a quote from one of the scientists. There's a very significant amount of eel DNA. Eels are very plentiful in Loch Ness, with eel DNA found at pretty much every location sampled. There are a lot of them. So, are there giant eels? Well, our data doesn't reveal their size, but the sheer quantity of the material says that we can't discount the possibility that there may be giant eels in Loch Ness. Therefore, we can't discount the possibility that what people see and believe is the Loch Ness Monster might be a giant eel. And I looked up pictures of giant eels. They are freaking massive, first of all, and second of all, they're freaking prehistoric looking, and they, honest to God, look like,
Monsters?
Monsters like dinosaurs. The
oh
eels,
my gosh. Ew.
Yeah. The eels from Little Mermaid? That like
yeah. Oh, what are their names? They have cute names too.
I forget. But that's basically what they look like, just massive. They have like that weird fin at the top, and they kind of like they're just super wiggly. And some of them just have like massive, like pouchy faces too.
Oh, Flat Sam and Jet Sam.
Oh, right.
Which is sometimes a crossword.
They are.
Blue.
They are.
Okay. Oh, no. Yeah, these are gross.
They're really
offense,
gross.
But, I would not want to be swimming and see this behind me.
Right. And so there's potential that, they're these massive, like, pod of giant eels that live in Loch Ness. So, and it also would make sense about, like, why we only see them occasionally, because they probably travel, like, through the rivers to and from the ocean. Who knows? I cannot say for sure, but...
We don't have all the answers here. We never claimed to.
We don't. It's true. Okay. Well, what about that famous photo of Nessie? Like, isn't that proof enough that she's real? We've all seen it. Okay. So the famous photo that we all know of the Loch Ness Monster is actually called, quote, the surgeon's photograph. That's what it's called in the field. Okay. It's reportedly the first photo of the creature, and it shows its head, neck, and like its humped back. The photo was supposedly taken by Robert Kenneth Wilson, a London gynecologist, and it was published in the Daily Mail on April 21st, 1934. According to Wilson, he was looking at the loch when he saw the monster, grabbed his camera, and snapped 4 photos. Only 2 exposures came out clearly. The first was the one that actually shows the head and the back, and it's the photo that we have come to know and love as showing our beautiful Loch Ness Nessie. But... since 1994, it's been confirmed that the photo was in fact a hoax. But why would a level-headed, respected gynecologist try to hoax the whole world? So here's the deal. Do you remember Marmaduke Wetherell?
Yes.
And his hippo footprints?
Uh-huh.
Okay. After his footprints were revealed to be a hoax by the National History Museum, the Daily Mail, who was the newspaper that initially employed Marmaduke to find the monster in the first place, they essentially ran a smear campaign against him because they were like, F you. And Marmaduke hated this, and I can understand that. I would hate to be, smeared.
Hello, it's not his
Daily
fault.
Mail.
He was just sending him what he found.
He's an actor, filmmaker, he's just doing it for the people, okay? Yeah. He knows when he has a good story. And they ruined it. So, it was time for revenge. Marmaduke teamed up with Christian Sperling, who is a sculptor, Ian Wetherell, which was Marmaduke's son, and Maurice Chambers, Marmaduke's insurance agent. A great, great team.
This should be a movie.
It's actually a really good idea. They bought a toy submarine. Then they sculpted the head and neck out of wood putty onto this little submarine. They tested it at a local pond, and then they took it up to Loch Ness, where Ian took the photos. Then they heard a water bailiff approaching, on Loch Ness, and so Marmaduke actually sunk the little submarine with his foot, and legend has it that the toy is still at the bottom of the loch to this day.
Oh my gosh.
Right? So then Maurice Chambers, the insurance agent, gave the photos to Robert Wilson, who was his friend, the gyno, who apparently loved a good practical joke. Who would have figured? And Wilson sold the photos to the Daily Mail, and the rest is history.
Just because you're a gynecologist doesn't mean you don't like a little prank.
He has a lot of fun. He likes laughs.
He's a fun gynecologist, okay?
We have a lot of laughs. Okay. So that's the history behind the photo, which I thought was kind of interesting. And that's basically all I have about Loch Ness specifically. Mm-hmm. But I wanted to round up my section with this. Who here remembers the Storm Area 51 Facebook page?
I do. I'm the only one here, but I do.
Of course. Okay, for those of you who live under a rock, Storm Area 51, They Can't Stop Us All, was an American Facebook event. It took place September 20th, 2019 at Area 51. Basically, the plan was to raid the site in search for extraterrestrial life or any information on aliens that people believe Area 51 is hiding. Mm-hmm. More than 2 million people responded going, and 1.5 million people responded interesting on the events page, although I think only 150 people actually showed up. Yeah. Regardless, if you may have heard of that, but have you heard of Storm Loch Ness? Nessie can't hide from us all. The time is now for us to find dat big boy.
No, but please invite me.
It already happened.
Oh.
Next time I will invite you. It actually happened September 21st, 2019, 24 hours after the raid on Area 51. And it was hosted by a guy named Brian Richard. 27,000 people clicked attending, and 50,000 people clicked interested. And the plan was to get everyone to storm the loch, the logic being that Nessie cannot hide from 27,000 people at once. Mm-hmm. From what I found, not many people showed up. But I did find the original Facebook event, and there were some beautiful comments and posts, and I will share a few with you now. Okay. Quote, "Do we need a fishing rod, or will they be provided?" And that was from Stephen Donahue. Stephen, I think you need to bring your own fishing rod. And then this one. Brian Richards says, "Find dat big boy. Nessie's a girl, you fud." And that was by Corey Duff McLeod. And the top comment on that one was #gender neutrality. Another one. "Got my diving gear. Ready for everyone else to turn up. Let's get this slippery bastard." And that was Matthew Bulbus. And this is from the creator himself of the event. Quote, "Bad news, guys. I stayed up too late watching Scooby-Doo, trying to perfect my Nessie catching skills, and missed my flight. Have a fun hunt, and everyone be safe." So he didn't even show up, okay?
He was never planning to show up.
He was never planning. He just wanted to do it for the memes, which I can't blame him. I would also do something like that for the memes.
We should make up a story about a monster in Lake Michigan.
Great idea. I love that. I love that for us.
Do you
and I love
sculptors?
That for Lake Michigan.
Do you need any sculptors, and is your gynecologist into practical jokes?
I think my gynecologist would be down.
All right.
I'll give her a call after this.
Then we're good.
Amazing. I got a lot of my information from LochNess.com, the BBC, PBS.com, Time.com, and HighlandTitles.com. So check them out. And that is the big, great, beautiful Loch Ness monster, Nessie, if you will, if you're trying to be comfortable.
I didn't know so much of that stuff. I didn't know the picture was a hoax.
Yes, hoax.
I never heard that.
Confirmed as of 1994. Wake up, sheeple.
It changes everything. Yeah,
it does. It makes me want to go dive down for the damn toy that's at the bottom of this like 800-foot deep lake. On my
Maybe
way.
There's a Barbie down there.
Oh, yes.
Full circle, people.
Oh my God, it's all
All right.
connected.
If you want to come find us, you can talk to us on Twitter at The Good Eve Girls.
Or Instagram at the Good Evening Girls.
Or TikTok at The Good Eve Girls.
We're fun. We're crazy. We just like to have a laugh once in a while.
We're kooky. But until then, I guess we will see you next week.
It's true. You were listening to Two Girls, One Crossword. Thanks for joining us.
Bye.